Hi, I'm Lindsay from InfoSpark, and this video is all about our connector between Smartsheet and Harvest. Harvest is a timekeeping system that InfoSpark has been using for, oh, must be over 10 years, and have really enjoyed the kind of simple user interface for it and good integration with other systems. And we've brought a lot of our own customers onto Harvest when they've needed a nice, easy to use timekeeping system. And what we're going to do here is talk about how we have made Smartsheet and Harvest work together. Now, we're going to go behind the scenes a little bit on InfoSpark because I'm actually going to use our own uh, working space as the way to demonstrate this. And what you can see on the screen here is actually one of our internal projects that we had or still have running for us to build demonstrations for InfoSpark. So hey, maybe I'll build my time against this. Um, so where it starts with getting a nice tight integration between Smartsheet and Harvest is firstly to create the project in Harvest. And so that is normally initiated out of your CRM. So if you win a piece of work or uh, create a piece of work, normally for most of our clients and for us as well, the sales CRM is where that's triggered. And then from there, that will push into Smartsheet and we'll have some kind of project register like you can see here. So this is InfoSpark's project register. All of our customer projects are in here, as well as our internal ones. And I've got that filtered to just show a couple of demo projects that we've got set up. So this can either be filled in with a form to get this information here, or like I said, you could integrate it with your sales CRM to push the project in. You can see here, we've got a whole bunch of information about the project, who's the client, who's the project team, who's the main person doing the work on it, project manager, all that sort of thing. And we've also put our budgets in here as well. So this is where it starts. And this is for our connector, what it cares about to know when it sees a project come in here and the project state turns into something that we think, okay, it's time, we need Harvest timekeeping for this project now, then it will automatically create the project for us in Harvest. From here, our team would basically fill in time sheets. And you can see here, we've got a couple of tasks in here. And within there, we've got people who've logged time against it. And so when that's happening, the next challenge is, okay, well, we need to get all of that information back into Smartsheet so that the project managers have one place where they can see all of the project planning, as well as the financials and the budgets and knowing how many hours have been logged in here. So throughout the day, our connector will be picking up that time data and putting it into Smartsheet. And it kind of looks a little bit like this. So you can see here, this is a report for that project that we're working on. You can see somebody's been putting time in against that over the months. And you can see that there's in total in Smartsheet 10.55 hours of time that's been logged, which tallies up with the 10.55 hours that we've got in Harvest. It's in many ways as simple as that. Once that all of that time data is in Harvest, in Smartsheet, we can use that information to track how we're going against budgets, to get information together for invoicing if we need to, and anything like that. So the trick is once that data's in Smartsheet to use the capabilities of Smartsheet, whether that's reports and dashboards or formulas, to make that information available wherever it needs to be. For us, we will be monitoring these hours, and in our project plans, we actually automatically update them to show how many hours have been booked against that project so that our clients and our project management can have ready access to that information. But some of our other clients, here's a sanitized version of what we've done with the same connector for other clients. They might have a budget that they set for each type of person, and then they can, based on Harvest data, they can track the actuals and they can see how many hours they've got remaining. As well as that, if we look at the information we have in Harvest about the time being put in, we know what they spent their time on, and within here, we then know the people. And so when we look at a dashboard like this, this lets us know what type of role that person has, and we can also look at how what task they've logged their time against. And that is just the last thing I want to cover. That's one of the special things about Harvest is there's not too many timekeeping systems where you need to allocate your time not just to the project that you're spending time in, but also specifically what task. And that is not optional in Harvest, and that makes it quite special. And it's really important because you generally want to get into a little bit more detail rather than knowing, yes, I've logged 158 hours against logged 28 hours against a project because this is the actual hours. You really want to know, well, how is that time spread out? What sort of tasks were they spending their time on? And how does that relate to how long we expected them to be spending their time? And so that's what's special about Harvest is it's a nice, easy to use user interface. It makes sure you have to actually capture what you are spending your time on so that reports like this are able to be generated quickly. Usually this is updated within an hour and very easily because there's no human intervention involved at all to keep these tables of information or graphics up to date. So normally what you'd see here when I look at a report like this is just seeing how much time was spent on the different tasks. And we can build different reports, such as one that looks like this, that groups all the time together into the different tasks. So we can see how many hours were spent on each demo in this case, or in your case, it could be on the different phases of the project. Where Smartsheet and Harvest play really nicely together, and it enables reports like this to be created. What it does is it's able to show, you're able to actually build out a budget or an estimate for how your time is going to be spent per task, but also separately per role, per type of resource, and then match your estimate or your budget to the actuals in Harvest to let you know how you're tracking against that budget or estimate. And that's really powerful because it gives the project manager so much more information to be able to proactively identify where a future budget overrun might be occurring and to jump on top of it. One last thing. Some organizations also are really keen to use earned value. So in other words, looking at the progress that they have made against individual tasks to see maybe it was a 4-hour task and they're halfway through it, they've used 2 hours, and to compare that to how much time has actually gone into that part of the project to see whether they're ahead or behind on their budgets. That can also be done in Smartsheet as well as kind of a more of an advanced project performance initiative. And the Harvest connector that we've got makes that very easy to accomplish.